Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. In today's video, we are going through our practice exam chapter 5. This is for our Math Foundations class homework number 2. Let's go ahead and get started with question number 1. Use an ordered pair to name the location of each point. So what this wants is it wants the x, comma, y in parentheses, which is the ordered pair for each point. So we're looking at the letter B. So I'm going to always start with your x axis. So here's your x. And then we want to go to your y axis. Here's your y. So the first thing you're going to do is we can even just put parentheses, comma, parentheses, comma, parentheses, comma on every single one. So that's kind of how your answer is going to look like. Then I'm going to go to my X location, and then I'm going to go to my Y location. So for my X location, I'm going to drag down from B, and my X is -4. And then I'm going to go to the Y, and it is 2. We'll do that for the next 2 letters. T, where's T? T's here, so I'm going to drag up for my X, looks like it's -3, and drag to my Y, which is -2. And the last letter was C. And take a look here. Since C is on the X axis, I don't have to go anywhere on the X. X is 5. But when I drag over on my Y, Y is 0. So be careful on C. Moving to question number 2, graph the points A at 7, comma, -4, and E at -2, 0. Again, we're always going to start with the X, then the Y, the X, then the Y. So for our X, I'm going to highlight this here. And our Y here. I'm just going to make sure to color code some of these things for you. We're going to start with, and I'm going to do this in pencil, and then I'll erase. Here's my eraser. Okay, so we're going to start at 7 on X. So here's 7 on X and -4 on Y. So I'm going to create kind of this line here. Here's 7 on X, -4 on Y. And you're going to get this intersection. And that intersection at 7 and -4, that's going to be your point, and we're going to call it A. But what we don't want is we don't want to keep those lines. So I'm going to erase those lines because that's not a point. A point is just a dot. There it is. And that's going to be 7, comma, -4. Now for E, E is asking for X is -2. So here's our yellow X, -2. Y is 0, so it's not going anywhere. So there's no lines for me to draw, and we're ready to label. So -2, 0 is here at E. Moving on to question number 3, graphing standard form. So we know this is in standard form because we have X and Y on the same side. With X and Y on the same side, we're going to solve for the X and Y intercepts. So I'm going to go ahead and create a table. Here's my table. On one side, we're going to write our x-intercept. On the other side, we're going to write our y-intercept. To solve for the x and y intercepts, we're first going to copy down the equations. For x minus 12y is equal to 12. For x minus 12y is equal to 12. Now remember, for the x-intercept, we want to keep, let's cover this right here. We want to keep the for x, we want x because we are solving for the x-intercept. That means that the y value, this one right here, oh, I thought these were different colors. Looks like they're the same. Let me grab a different color. Looks like this right here, this -12y. This is going to be gone. And the way we do this is we plug in 0 I'm going to do this, but I'll show you that it doesn't really matter if you show me this one because we're going to remove it anyways. So this negative 12 times 0, this is gone. So what we do is we're going to bring down 4x equals 12. Divide by 4 on both sides. X is then equal to 12 divided by 4 is 3. But that's not the answer. So here we have our thinking bubble. We're going to cross that out. We have to write it as a point, 3, 0. This is our x-intercept. Now we got to do the same thing for the y. So for the y, we're going to now pick up the negative 12y. Again, y goes to y. We're going to keep that, which means that the x is now 0. And again, this right here, this is gone. The one thing you have to be careful is you do have a negative 12, not just 12. It's not positive. So when you are dividing by negative 12 on both sides, you're going to have same or different. So negative 12 divided by 12 is 1. Again, thinking bubble. Cross that out. And so now we have 0 is x, y is negative 1. Now, on the last exam, we did struggle with what do you do with this information? When it's asking you to graph standard form, you're going to be given this section here, and you're going to need to graph. So we're going to first graph this point at 3 on the x. Here's your x, here's your y. So 3 on the x, negative 1 on the y. You're going to pick up a ruler, and you're going to graph your line. So remember, when you're graphing a line, you can also count slope here. So this is 1 up, 1, 2, 3, 1 up, 1, 2, 3 to help with the line. But all you need is those 2 points. Again, so what's the whole point of graphing your standard form equation? Well, you want to give me a line. How do you get that line? You're going to solve for the x-intercept. You're going to solve for the y-intercept. Moving on. Okay, we have another standard form. So let's go ahead and do our table. Again, how do we know this isn't a standard form? Well, because x and y are on the same side. So copy down 3x plus 5y equals 15. 3x plus 5y is equal to 15. For the x, I want to keep x. For the y, I want to keep y. So that means this positive 5y, that's gone. This 3x, that's gone. Kind of doing both at the same time just to show you what we want to keep versus what we want to remove. So we are keeping the x, so 3x. We are keeping the equals 15. Put a dot there, divide by 3, dotted line for balance, divide by 3. X is equal to a positive 5. Oh, not a box. This is not our answer. This is a thinking bubble because we have to write it in the correct format. So thinking bubble, cross it out. We got 5, 0. This is our x-intercept. Again, we're getting rid of that 3 with the x. We're going to bring down, be careful here. Now this is a positive 5 times y. Always take the symbol. And when you're dividing by a positive 5, we're going to take that plus as well, which means y is equal to a same or different, same, positive 3, thinking bubble, and we get 0, 3. Again, what is the purpose of what we're doing? Well, our purpose is to graph the line. So we're going to find on the x-axis a 5. We're going to find on the y-axis a 3. We're going to pick up our ruler. And we're going to sketch a line. Remember, when you're drawing the line, don't make it a little bitty line. Extend it so that way it's easier for me to grade. Moving on to question number 5. Question number 5, notice, is not in standard form. This is called slope-intercept. This is our first encounter of slope-intercept. And we know this because this is y equals mx plus b. So we have two pieces of information. We have the number in front of x. This is our slope. And we have the number behind x, which is this positive 4, which is our y-intercept. For the slope, we have negative. Here it is, this negative. So that means we're going to go down and to the right. For the y-intercept, that's going to be a point at the number that we see. Down 1, to the right 3, and we have our point. This point is what you're going to use to start on the y-axis. So I'm going to find the number 4. I'm going to put a dot there. And then we're going to go down 1, right 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. And when I run out of space, I'm going to go the opposite direction. So now I'm going up 1, 1, 2, 3, and to the left. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, to the left. 1, 1, 2, 3, to the left. We always want to start with this so you have your pattern. So let's go ahead and put our ruler a little below it. Extend your line all the way. Make sure your line has arrows. No arrows means that I have to remove some credit. Okay. Lines have arrows. Right, moving down, question number 6, A and B. Notice the difference between, let me scooch up, this equation here, mx plus b, versus this, we just have y equals and an x equals. These are called one variable lines. And what you're going to do is you're going to find that number on that axis. So since we have a y, we're going to find the y axis. We have a negative 3, so I'm going to find a negative 3. I'm going to put a point there. And then I have to create a line that's not my yellow line. So if I go here, notice that it's going to be my yellow axis, which I cannot have. So that means my line is going to be a horizontal line going left and right. Like that. Let's try it again. Here we have the x. This only happens when you see one letter. So here I see both x and y. So this has a slope. On my standard form, I also see x and y, right? Here's x, here's y, here's y, here's x. Here I only have a y, here I only have an x. So be careful on when you are able to do just horizontal versus vertical. Here on the x-axis, I'm going to find the number 5. Here's 5. And again, I have to draw a line that's not on the axis. So here would be on the axis. So I'm going to flip my ruler around. And I'm going to draw my line up and down. Make sure you have your arrows. Okay, moving on, question number 7. Now we are writing the equations. Writing the equations, remember, if it is left and right, up and down, that means it's one variable. If it is having a slope, then we have to do a slope-intercept. So let's go ahead and highlight. This is the line. It is crossing the y-axis at 2, and I do not have a slope. Slope means it's going up, down, left, right. I don't have that. So that means my equation is y equals 2. Next one. Here's my line. Here's my axis. So that means x is equal to negative 2. Okay, moving on. These happen very quickly. All right, here's again my line. Here's my axis. So that means x is equal to -5. And here again is my line. Here's my axis. Here's my point. So y is equal to 4. That's it. That's all you have to do when you see no slope. Okay. This is just up, down, left, right. This is not 2 variables. This is only 1 variable. Okay. Moving on. Now take a look at the difference between what we just did. Here's an example of what we did and what we have. So notice this is only left and right, up and down. Now these have a slope. Notice that there's some kind of going uphill or downhill. Since we are going uphill, this one is going uphill. Uphill, this is called increasing. And an uphill increasing is going to give you a positive slope. This one is going downhill. This is called decreasing. And this is a negative slope. To find your slope, we're first going to, here I did give you 2 pretty points, but you can always find another pretty point. So for example, I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, up. I'm going to write plus because it is increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. I don't have to choose those points that they've given us. Sometimes it's better to choose your own. So if I choose this one, I'm going to find the next pretty point, which is here. And I know that I'm going to be going up 1 and to the right 1. Or you can use the points that they've given you and simplify, which means I have a positive 1/1 slope. You can simplify that to just 1. That's okay as well. So now for decreasing, again, if we choose to use their points, let's see how much down we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. We're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the right. This is negative, going down. 6 down. 9 right. And again, we have to simplify. So you can simplify by dividing by 3, top and bottom, and say, okay, this is going to be 2/3 negative as our slope. Or we could have found another pretty point. So if I'm choosing this right here, I'm going to look and see where my next pretty point is, and it's right here. So I have 1, 2 down, 1, 2, 3 to the right. And again, remember, down means negative, up means positive. So be careful with your symbols. All right, let's go again. These ones here did not give you pretty points, so I'm going to have you choose the ones that are closest together. So I'm going to choose, well, this one's kind of looking at me, so I'm going to choose this one. And which one's the next pretty point? I'm going to choose this one. Are we increasing or decreasing? It does look like we're going downhill. So this is decreasing. So that means we're going to have a negative slope. I did go down 1 and 1 to the right. So that means my slope is -1/1. You can also just use simplify. 1 divided by 1 is 1, and that is okay as well. This one, noticing that it's going uphill, which means it is increasing, which is positive. And again, we need to find our 2 pretty points. Let's see. This one kind of looks pretty, and then we got to find the next pretty point. And this one looks pretty. So let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So positive 3/5 is our slope. Again, if you can simplify, you must simplify, okay? So that's why choosing pretty points that are closest together is going to give you the simplest slope, the smallest number slope. All right, let's move on. So this one here, write the equation in point slope form. So this is a little bit of a different question. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m open x minus open x1, close it, close it. To write in this format, you need to do two things. It's kind of like a step number one, step number two. Step number one, you're going to solve for slope. Your slope is your m value. So let's label our points x1, y1, x2, y2. We got to write out our slope formula. How you label your points is different than how you use the slope formula. So be careful. Labeling your points, you got x1, y1, x2, y2, but your formula is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We're going to write in y2 is -5, y1 is -4, x2 is 0, x1 is 5. Here we have to see if we have any double negatives. Change that to adding. Here we just have 0 minus 5. And now we add subtract. So we have -5 plus 4, which is -1. 0 minus 5 is -5. Double negatives here. So we have 1/5 as our slope. Put that in a thinking bubble. Leave some space here. I'm going to write on top. So when we have our formula, y minus y1 equals m open x minus open x1, we're going to be putting in the y1, which is -4, x1, which is 5, and then the slope that we solved for of 1/5. If we have any double negatives like this, we need to simplify it to a positive and rewrite our answer. So for A, our answer is going to be y plus 4 equals 1/5, open, x minus 5, close. This is our answer for point slope form. For B, C, and D, it's going to be the same. Looks like I did make a typo. This should be C. Let's go and do it again. So step number one is slope. Step number two is the formula. So let's do slope. Again, let's label our points x1, y1, x2, y2. Writing out our slope formula. Labeling our slope formula. y2, y1, x2, x1. y2 is 5, y1 is 3, x2 is -4, x1 is -1. Looking for any double negatives. The numerator does not have a double negative, but the denominator does. We get -4 plus 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. -4 plus 1 is a -3. Okay, so that's our slope. This is our m value. So now we write out our formula. Y minus y1 is equal to, leave some space for m, open, x minus x1. And again, I'm using this right here. We get y1 is 3, x1 is -1, and our slope is -2/3. Any double negatives? Yes, I have 2 minuses here. So to write our answer, we have y minus 3 equals -2/3, open, x plus 1, close it. Okay, this should be C. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Slope, open minus open, open minus open. Again, kind of repetitive now because we're doing the same thing 3 times and then 4 times. Make sure you have your slope formula memorized, please. Okay, what do we have? We have y2 is 3, y1 is 2, x2 is negative 2, x1 is positive 2. Okay, any double negatives? No, nothing to circle, so we get 3 minus 2, negative 2 minus 2. Be careful here with counters. 3 take away 2 is 1. Negative 2 and negative 2 is a negative 4. This is our slope. Again, writing out our formulas. We get y minus y1 equals m, open x minus x1, close it. Here's our points. Y1 is 2, x1 is also 2, and then our slope, we're going to bring from here, we get a 1/4, that's negative. Don't forget that negative, please. Do we have any double negatives? No. So we're going to go right into writing our answer. We get y minus 2 is equal to negative 1/4, open x minus 2, close it. Okay, moving on. And one more time, same thing. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Writing our slope formulas. And we get Y2, Y1, X2, X1. So Y2 is 3, Y1 is 4, X2 is 3, X1 is negative 4. Do I have any double negatives? Yes. So we get 3 minus 4, 3, careful here, plus 4. 3 take away 4, negative 1. Again, these are all counters. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our slope. Let's write out our formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m, x minus x1. And we're going to take a look at our point here. Y1 is positive 4, x1 is a negative 4, and our slope is negative 1/7. Do I have any double negatives? Yes, double negative here. So we have y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/7. Open x plus 4, close it. This is your equation. Okay, moving on. Let's see what this one is. Write the equation from point slope into slope intercept. Okay, so what they want is they want slope intercept form, and that is y equals mx plus b. And what your goal is to get y by itself. We want to solve for y. So what you're going to do is you're going to look in here, dotted line. Step number 1, you're going to distribute that negative 3, that number out in front, whatever number this is here. You're going to multiply inward using the distributive property. So what this looks like, ready? 3 times, negative 3, sorry, open x, and we got to have our English and, negative 3 times open, negative 4. And you want to put those little dots here because we're not adding, subtracting. We are multiplying. Bring down the y minus 3. We're not touching that yet. Here we're multiplying, so negative 3x. Here we're multiplying, same or different, same, so positive. 3 times 4 is 12. Keep bringing down the y minus 3. Once we have distributed, then you're going to combine like terms. So you're going to solve for y. So I'm going to be removing this 3 by adding 3 to both sides. Remove on one side, add subtract on the other. So y is equal to negative 3x. 12, 13, 14, 15. We're just adding here counters. And that is your answer that we want. Y is equal to negative 3x plus 15. And you're going to do the same thing for B, C, and D. Let's do it again. You're going to pick up the number attached to the parentheses. You're going to multiply inward using the distributive property. Dotted line for balance. 2 times open x and 2 times open positive 3, close it. Bring down the y plus 1. Multiplying 2 times x is 2x. Same or different, same. 2 times 3 is 6. Bring down the y plus 1. We want to solve for y, so y gets a circle. Take your finger, cover y. We're going to remove 1 by subtracting 1 on both sides. Y is then equal to, bring down to 2x. 6 take away 1 is positive 5. It's not negative, it's positive. And that is going to be your answer here. Y is equal to 2x plus 5. Let's do it 2 more times. Take the number in front, dotted line for balance. Multiply inward, 4 times open x and 4 times open positive 5, close it. Bring down the y minus 5. We get 4x. We get same or different, same. So 4 times 5 is 20. Bring down the y minus 5. Again, circle the y. We're going to add 5 to both sides. Remove on one side. Add, subtract on the other. So here we're adding 20 plus 5 is 25. And we're writing our answer. Y is equal to 4x plus 25. Okay, last one, there was a typo. Make sure this is D, A, B, C, D. And we're going to do the same thing one last time. Here's 5. We're going to bring 5 inward using the distributive property. Dotted, 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 dotted. 5 open x and 5 open negative 1. Again, put your little time symbol here so you don't get confused. Bring down the y plus 2. 5 times x is 5x. And, whoopsies, these are different. So I almost did a mistake. So this is going to be negative. 5 times 1 is 5. Circle the y. Get rid of that 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. 5x. 5 negatives and 2 negatives give me 7 total negatives. Y is equal to 5x minus 7 is our answer. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Write the equation from standard form into slope-intercept form. So again, what are they asking of us? They're asking for slope-intercept form, which is our y equals mx plus b. So our goal here is to get y by itself. So when we are looking at point slope form, we had this parentheses here that we needed to distribute. This is standard form. There are no parentheses. So the solving for y is going to look a little bit different. Step number 1, dotted line for balance. Step number 2, we want to get y by itself. So I'm going to circle this y here. I'm going to cover it up. and I'm going to remove the x. To remove here, you're just going to add subtract. So here I am subtracting. And here I'm just going to write it as is. I'm not combining anything. Here is the number one mistake is you're going to try to add subtract. You're not. Just write it out. Don't change anything. Next, bring down the positive 3y. When you do that, you're going to put in your little multiplication symbol. And then the next step is you're going to divide every single thing by that number. So our number is a positive 3. Here, we're going to ask ourselves, are these same or different? So here I have negative, positive. These are different. 2 and 3, just copy it down. These are 1 away. When it's 1 away, 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Then it will not simplify. Here's your x. Here, same or different? Same. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And so you're going to have these steps over and over and over. First, you're going to move the x's, then you're going to divide. Let's try this again. Let's go ahead and circle our y. So here's our y, dotted line for balance. Take your finger, cover the y. I'm going to move the x. Again, do not actually combine. You're just going to write them next to each other. Negative 4x, positive 12. Bring down your term. So here you have to be careful because now you have a negative 2 times y. So when you are dividing, you are going to be dividing by that negative 2. Got to ask yourself, same or different? These are same. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Same or different? Different. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we have y equals 2x minus 6. Okay, again, should be a little bit repetitive now. Here's y. Dotted line for balance. Cover the y. Subtract the 3x. Here again, all we're doing is copying. We're not connecting anything. We're just copying it down. Bring down your positive y. Now here, there is no number. Like you can do 1 if you'd like, but here because I have 1y, I am ready to write the answer. There is no number in front of y. Y is then equal to negative 3x plus 8. No dividing on this one. Okay, one more time. This should be letter D. Dotted line for balance. Let's circle our negative 3y. Taking our finger, we're going to remove the 5x. So I get negative 5x, positive 9. Bring down the negative 3y. Put in your little multiplication dot here. And we're going to divide everything by negative 3. Y is equal, same or different, same. 5 and 3 do not get along, so we're going to keep it. Same or different, different. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Y is equal to 5/3 x minus 3. Okay, moving on. Solve for slope. Box your answer. So we kind of did this a little bit already. We want to do a little bit more practice. So we're going to find 2 pretty points. So all this is asking, it's not asking for an equation of a line. All it's asking is for slope. And then if you want to write the equation of a line, I can give you kind of pointers on that. In just a few moments. And I think we're going to go back to question number 7 here in just a moment for equations of lines. I feel like question number 7 we didn't fully commit to. All right, let's go ahead and find a slope. Here's your pretty point. Let's find another pretty point. There it is. Are we increasing or decreasing? Are we going uphill or downhill? This is an increasing slope. We're going uphill. That means we're going to have a positive slope. How many ups am I doing? I'm doing 1 up. How many rights? 1, 2 to the right. I have a positive, so that means I have positive 1/2 as my slope. Okay, am I going uphill or downhill? Here I am decreasing, going downhill. And for decreasing downhill, let's find our pretty points. I see a pretty point here. I see a pretty point here. How many downs am I doing? I get 2 jumps down, 1 jump to the right. Remember, decreasing means that we're going to have a negative slope. Now, when you're solving for slope, make sure you find your 2 pretty points that are really close together. So here's a pretty point. Oh, here's a pretty point. Are we increasing or decreasing? Looks like we are going uphill, increasing. Increasing means positive. I'm going 1, 2 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. Because we're increasing, we have a positive slope, 2 up, 5 right. So it means we have 2/5 as our slope. Okay, again, find pretty points. I see a pretty point here and here. Are we increasing? Decreasing does look like I'm going downhill, so decreasing. Decreasing means I'm going to have a negative slope. How many downs am I doing? I'm doing 1 down. How many rights am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Remember, when you have a decreasing, we have a negative slope. Now here is 2 points, and it's still asking us to find slope. Let's label. This is kind of similar how we did point slope form. We are just going to find slope, and then that's it. Here's our slope formula. y2, y1, x2, x1. y2 is -5, y1 is 13, x2 is 3, x1 is 5. Okay, double negatives? No. So we got -5 minus 13. Remember, it's counters on top, counters on the bottom. So we got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 negatives on top. 3 take away 5 is -2. Remember, if you can simplify, you have to simplify. So are these same or different? These are same. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So our slope is just 9. Okay, let's do it again. x1, y1, x2, y2. Here's our slope formula. y2, y1, x2, x1. How you label your points and what the slope formula, those are different. y2, where's y? Oops, y2 is -12, y1 is -18, x2 is 20, x1 is 19. Again, double negatives there, so we got -12 plus 18. We got 20 minus 19 here. 20 minus 19, that's just 1. 18 minus 12 is 6. So we got slope. You can keep it as 6/1 or 6 divided by 1 is just 6. It is up to you. And again, I need to remind myself, we are going to go back to question number 7 because it looks like I didn't read the directions. So Moving on. These are solving one-step equations. This is going to be needed in Integrated Math 1 and Algebra 1. So very important for you to know how to do this. Let's go ahead and review. Dotted line for balance. We are solving for V. Take your finger, cover V. This is a positive 5, so we're going to be subtracting. Now remember, this is counters. Bring down the V. So 13 and negative 5 is a negative 18. Okay, here we need to rewrite dotted line for balance, but we need to rewrite this as negative 3 times x, which then will show us that we need to divide by negative 3 on both sides. Same or different? Different. 15 divided by 3 is 5. You can use your multiplication table on here. For two-step equations, when you are circling your letter, you're actually going to circle the symbol and whatever the letter's attached to. So I'm going to cover this up. Here's my dotted line for balance, and I see a 5 that is positive. So now that means I'm going to be subtracting 5 on both sides. Remove and bring down. So I got a positive a over 2. Here's just counters, so negative 4 and negative 5. That gives me a negative 9. Now on this, I see a positive 2, so I'm going to multiply both sides by a positive 2. 2 and 2 go away, leaving us a. Negative 9 times a positive 2 gives us negative 18. You can put over 1 if you'd like, but you don't need to. Okay. Same thing, two-step equations, going to circle. Dotted line for balance. Oops. Dotted line for balance. I'm going to cover this up. I have a positive 1, so that means I'm going to be subtracting for 1. And now I have negative 8 times n, bringing down. Here's just counters, negative 15 and negative 1. That's a negative 16. Here I see multiplication. That means I need to divide. So I'm going to be dividing by negative 8. N is equal to negative. Negative gives me a positive. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Two more two-step equations. Let's go ahead and circle the letter and the term. Dotted line for balance. I see a negative 3. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. We get x over 5 left over. Here we have 3 and negative 2, which gives me a positive 1. You can put plus if you want. Here I see this line, which means I have division. I'm going to multiply both sides. Multiply both sides. Remove the 5's. 5 times 1 is 5. And again, here, circle. Dotted line for balance. Cover it up. I see a negative 8, so I'm going to be adding 8 to both sides. Bring down and remove. So we got positive 2 times h. Here I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which gives me a negative 4. Counters on this side. So now we have divided by 2. You can take the plus as well. Divided by a positive 2. Divided by a positive 2. H is equal to same or different. Different. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we did one-step equations, two-step equations, and now we're doing a few more. This one's asking you to distribute and combine like terms. So we're going to distribute, leave the 10, don't touch the 10 there. 5 times open x and 5 times open negative 3. Now bring down your plus 10. Go ahead and multiply. 5 times x is 5x. Same or different, different. 5 times 3 is 15. And again, bring down your 10x. Combining like terms is here. After you distribute, you're going to look, do I have the same letter? Do I have no letters? Here's no letters. This is counters. We get 5x. 15 minuses, 10 pluses. We get negative 5. Here's a little bit more distributive, so I'm going to have to distribute here and here. Be careful with this negative. The negative needs to be distributed just like the negative needs to be distributed here. Now, there's things that you need to distribute and there's things that you leave alone. So, -2 times open x and -2 times open 5, positive. This right here, +3, is not distributive, but the -5 is. So you have to be careful here. So we're going to ask ourselves to multiply -2 and x. That's -2x. Negative, positive, these are different. 2 times 5 is 10. I still have my +3 that I'm just going to bring down. X. Here, same or different. These are different. -5 times 2 is 10. And same or different? Same. 5 times 3 is 15. Do I have a letter? Yes, that letter is X. Now here is where you're going to be actually combining the terms. So I have a -2x, a +3x, a +15x, and I have a -10, a -10. So you can do this two different ways. You can line them up. We kind of did the lining like this and write them out. And then we got -10, -10. We get, here's -20. 3, again, I see a letter, I have a letter, I have a letter, I'm going to have a letter. But here's 15, take away 2 plus 3. So -2 and 3, that's 1. 1 plus 15, that should be 16. So we have 16 x's minus 20. We got to write this out in the correct format like this. If you are able to combine like terms without this step right here, this line step, that's okay. You don't have to do that. Moving on to the next multi-step. For multi-step, we got to distribute, combine like terms, and solve. So there's 3 things you have to do. Step number 1 is to distribute. So I'm going to take that -4 and I'm going to bring it inward. Careful of that -3 in the back. Do not touch that. We got -4 times open 3b and -4 times open -1. I have this -3 in the back, so I'm going to have a -3 in the back. Bring down your 49. Let's go ahead and multiply it. Same or different? Different. 4 times 3 is 12. Do I have a letter? Yes. Same or different? Same. 4 times 1 is 4. And again, I still have that -3 in the back. Bring down the 49. Counters. 4 minus 3 is 1. And now we're again solving equations. So I'm going to circle this -12b. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to subtract 1, subtract 1. Here, 49 take away 1, that's 48. Bring down the -12 times v. Divide by -12, divide by -12. Same or different? Different. 48 divided by 12 is 4. Okay, let's do this again. We got to distribute. So we're going to take that -4, bring it onto 1 and 4, dotted line for balance. -4 times 1 and -4 times -4a. -68 on this side. Multiply, same or different? Different. 4 times 1 is 4. Same or different? Same. 4 times 4 is 16. Do I have a letter? Yes, it is A. We are solving an equation, so go ahead and circle this positive 16a. Cover it up. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Bring down the 16 positive times a. And we have this negative 68 plus 4 and gives me negative 64. We're going to divide by 16, positive. And we get negative 4. Same or different? Different means our answer is going to be negative. Okay, moving on, 2 more, and then we'll go back to question number 7. All right, a lot of things happened here. We got double distributive, dotted line for balance. I'm going to ask you to write on the smaller side because there's a lot that needs to be done here. We got a 3, we got a positive 2. Both of these are going to need to be distributed with their own bubbles. So we have 3 times open 1 and 3 times open positive n, and 2 times open 5n, and 2 times open negative 5. You got 19 on this side. Let's go ahead and multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times n is 3n. 2 times 5 is 10n. Negative, positive is a negative. These are different. 2 times 5 is 10. Here we need to combine like terms. You can do this 2 different ways. You can just add the n's together. And then for the numbers, you can just shift them over to the other side. So for example, I'll show you how to do this in a little bit of a different way. So we got 3. 3n and 10n gives me 13n. So instead of combining the 3 and the 10 together, I can circle the n, subtract 3, copy everything down. We have 16 here, 19 minus 3. And again, circle the n. And now I can add 10 to both sides. Bring down the 13 times n. Here we just have 16 plus 10, which is 26. And now we get to divide by 13. N is equal to 2. Okay, let's do last one and we'll go back to question number 7. Again, write small. You're going to need to distribute twice. Dotted line for balance. And what do we have here? We have negative 3 times open 1 and negative 3 times open negative 3x. Then we have a positive 3, so be careful here. Positive 3 times open 1 and positive 3 times open negative 5x. Got 6 on this side. Let's go and multiply. We get negative 3. Negative, negative is a positive. 3 times 3 is 9. Do I have a letter? Yes. This is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. These are different, so negative. 3 times 5 is 15. Do I have a letter? Yes, it's X. Again, you can do different things here. If you wanted to combine like terms on one side, you can. Or if you wanted to only combine your X's, you can do that too. So I'm going to choose to do that. So here's my X's. Here's my X's. Everything else I'm going to copy down. So I have negative 3. Here is 9 and 15. So be careful here. This is counters. I get a negative 15 and a positive 9, which gives me a negative 6x. And then I still have my positive 3 here. Circling my x's, which means I'm going to add 3 to both sides, bring down everything else, which gives me 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to circle my x, Now I'm going to subtract 3. So sometimes it's better to combine them like terms earlier, because now we're back to 6. So our 3's would have canceled out here. Negative 6 times x, divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. X is equal to negative 1. All right, I promised you to go back to question number 7. I realized that I didn't actually do question number 7. We only started it and then I left it. So going back to question number 7 for this right here. Let's go back. This is question number 7. And I need to learn how to read directions because they wanted to write the equation. And the equation is in y equals mx plus b format, which is our slope-intercept. So what I did is I found a slope, but I didn't find the equation. So let's do that. This is going to be a quick fix. For each one of these, I want y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So let's start with these two. Your m is the slope that we found. This is your m. Your y-intercept is your b value. That is the number that is crossing on the y-axis. So our equation here is y equals, what was our slope? Our slope was positive 1x. And what number is that? That is a positive 2. Okay, let's do it again. Our slope is our m, and the number here for our y-intercept is the number crossing on the y-axis. For our number, that number is 0. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 0. Okay, 2 more. Again, what do we want? We want an equation. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. We already solved for slope. This is our slope. And this is our slope. But what we need is our y-intercept. So we are going to find the number on the y-axis. So this number is 2. So we have y equals negative 1x, positive 2. Again, here's our y-axis. We want our y-intercept. And the number on our y-axis was negative 1. Y equals positive 3/5 x. And negative 1 was our y. Now be careful here. Sometimes we don't want to see this positive. So it is okay to remove the plus here. We need the minus, that has to stay. And then the plus we get to remove is this one here as well. It's more proper this way. Because if it's positive, you're not going to see a negative. Okay, so make sure you fix this on question number 7. This is the answer. This is the answer. This is the answer. And this is the answer for your equations. All right, beautiful people, that is it. Thank you for watching and have a fabulous day. Bye.